Today I'm going to show you guys how to fit Mudflaps to your Jaguar XF. So I got these on AliExpress and they are made specifically for the X260 Jaguar XF. You also get ones for the X250, like the older XF that I used to have. There are just two holes here. There's one up here and there's one down here. And these two holes line up with fender liner, the inner fender liner, which has two bolts or star screws. You actually just need one of these little screwdrivers and this will do the trick. When offering this up to the car, you'll realize that the Mudflap has a little pocket designed into it over here. Now this pocket must slip very nicely into the bottom groove here, and this portion of the Mudflap actually screws onto a screw that is already underneath there as well. So, and as you can see, the front Mudflap is molded. I can just clip this bottom portion on there. It's actually molded to each groove of the car, which is quite nice. So the front fender liner actually has these little goodies. So when you unscrew them, just put very gentle pressure on them so that they actually pop out, because if you put heavy pressure on them and you're pushing in while trying to unscrew them, they're just never going to come out. So it does help if you turn your car's wheel so that you can actually get in here. There we go. Now as you can see, the Mudflap doesn't really line up because of the fact that this thing is it's designed to clamp onto this portion over here. So we just have to move it a little bit. So what I had to do here is I actually had to get the screwdriver onto the screw, and then you've got to really hit the bottom of the screwdriver to get that screw in there. This screw will just not go in there. It goes about as that far and it won't go any further. I'm not going to bother putting that screw in. We have that other screw at the bottom over here. So that's holding the flap in place there. So you don't actually need to undo the screw at all. So I'm just going to put this behind the flap and put the screw back in to put the fender line in. So only loosen that screw and the other one underneath. And then what I did here is I just used one of their self-tappers and tapped it in. I didn't bother about that little clampy thing because this thing just moves when you slot it onto you. It just moves and turns around with the screw when you're trying to screw the screw in. So I don't think they thought it out really clearly on what hardware to include with these Mudflaps. But what I did is I thought, well, I'm going to take the highest point on the Mudflap and just put a self-tapper in there, which they supplied. And that self-tapper just goes in like a knife through butter, and it's attached directly into the fender liner. So the flap is pretty sturdy. This thing's going nowhere. It's not going to move. It's not going to budge. And I think we've got a nice fit. So as you could see, it's very easy to do. It took all but 20 minutes for me to do it, and I think this is something that you could try out at home if you haven't yet fitted these to your car. By looking at the B-roll footage I took of the car, you can see it does add a nice aesthetic to the Jaguar XF and just gives it a more aggressive look from the rear. So thank you for watching. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more. Cheers. Bye.